Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Run Selfie Repeat podcast. This is Project 159. My name is Kelly Roberts. And a couple years ago, back in 2015, 16, I'm going to do this every week for the next 6 months. I don't remember what year this started. Years ago. Too long ago. Wait, it was the year Hillary Clinton was running for president. 16? Yeah, 2016. That's what it was because I wore my HRC hat. I decided to try to qualify for the Boston Marathon. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kelly Roberts. I'm now a running coach, but I started running in 2013. Nope, 2012. Wow. What is time anyway? Who cares? I started running a while ago, but not crazy long ago. I was never athletic growing up. I had a very contentious relationship with working out because of eating disorders and body image issues, all that good stuff. I found running. That became a good, not so good relationship. But over the last decade, running has really been morphed into this incredible resource for me to use in conjunction with therapy to feel really strong in my body, to help me work through perfectionism and limiting self-beliefs and develop confidence. And it's become my career. I'm now a running coach. We have a global running community called the Badass Lady Gang that it started kind of as a joke and morphed into the thing that I'm best at, creating community. That's what my background is. I got my undergraduate degree in theater. I've been a theater person my whole life, but community theater was always something that I really loved, and ensemble work is something that I really loved. So kind of taking all of the things I love most in life, people doing stuff together and chasing big giant dreams and taking up space, Badass Lady Gang was formed. Now, BQ or Bust was a vlog series. I've decided to vlog what it was like to try to qualify for the Boston Marathon. At the time, I had just broke 4 hours in the marathon, which felt impossible. I did it in like 3:59 and change, and I never thought in a million years I could do that. Every single year, I was proving to myself that the way I spoke to myself, the way I felt about myself was just shrouded in doubt, a fear of failure, and limiting beliefs. I could never do that. I could never take myself seriously enough. I'm a quitter, all this stuff. And when I started BQ or Bust, I just thought it would be funny. I thought it would be funny to watch me try, and I really would end up quitting and saying proudly that running for fun is a lot more rewarding than chasing goals. And at the time, I had chased goals, right? I had run a marathon. I had run multiple marathons. I had run half marathons. I had broken 2 hours in the half marathon, but I half committed to that because I had all these insurance policies, right? I had this crippling fear of failure and doing it in front of people. So I decided to try. I didn't quit. I actually really, really got a lot out of the experience, and I got really close. The first time I tried, I ran 3:42 and change in the Chicago Marathon in 2016. My qualifying time at the time was 3 hours and 35 minutes, so off by 7 minutes, but a lot closer than 4 hours. And I finished thinking, oh, I have this. I can do this. There's not, if you can hear that, that's my voice. That's my cat. My cats are about to get fed, and I go, little girls, come eat. So now you can hear the food being dispensed. When my friends cat sit for me when I leave town, and I always forget to alert them about the 11:55 little girls call. And they always get a text message when they do it for the first time. That's like, what is that feeding call? It's very creepy, but I think it's funny, and it is what it is. Anyways, back to it. I finished and was like, there's no doubt in my mind that I can't do this. So I set a goal to do it again the following year, the next spring at the London Marathon. I got hurt, and even though I was totally on track to do it, I wasn't able to. And I spent the next year rehabbing that injury, kind of like putting myself back together, because I felt so sad that 3 weeks before I got to try again, the rug got ripped out from under me, right? The one thing you will learn about the marathon is it's not like other distances. It's not promised, although nothing's ever promised. With the marathon, it's extra stingy, because with a 5K or a 10K, or even a half marathon, you can try again that year, right? You just need a little bit of time off, then you can try again, depending on the distance. With the marathon, you don't really get more than one try a year because it's so hard on your body. You can run multiple marathons a year. I ran 2 marathons a year. I've ran 3 marathons a year. And I can honestly tell you, it destroys your body. It is not great for you. Most people, it's not ideal. And for me especially, it's definitely not ideal. I was doing it because I'm an influencer. I wanted the buzz and attention and to get deals and stuff like that, which is why I did it. And I can tell you it's why most people do it. I regret it. I won't do it again unless there's big dollar bills attached to it. And I'll be very vocal about that if it happens again. But we're talking big ass dollar bills, because to put my body through that, whoa, baby. But the next time I got to try post 2017 was 2019, 2 years later, Chicago Marathon. I did 3:37. At that point, my time had changed to qualify because so many people had tried to qualify from 3:35 to 3:30, right? So 7 minutes off my goal, but again, closer. And I just had a tough day. I took off and felt like absolute garbage from the moment I started. And I was able to say like, okay, we feel like shit. My legs are 100,000 pounds. My heart rate's really high. I'm about to get my period. I know I can run strong on tired legs. Let's see what we can do. There was never, oh, it's not happening today. It was great. Okay. I know I can run strong on tired legs. Let's see what we can do. Right. And then about actually, ironically, if you know Emily Abadi, she also has a podcast. Emily passed me at like 15 or 16 and she came up beside me because she's this like energetic, and she was like, let's go, let's do this. And I was like, I don't think I can. You go. And I watched her leave me and I said, I'm probably not going to be BQ. Like I want to stay with her, but I can't. Like I can't stay with her. Same thing, that same race. Another influencer, Emma Abrahamson, she was with me from the start. And Emma's a rock star and was like, I was holding her back for most of it in the beginning because she'd never run a marathon. And I'm like, just hold on. Stay with me through 8. And then if you feel good, then leave me and go for broke. But like, you will absolutely fuck your race if you start the way you want to start right now. Just stay with me. And I promise you, you will crush this. And crush this, she did. But when she left me, I was like, I can't stay with her. I tried and I was like, nope, I don't have it in me to bring it down to where she wants to go right now. And this is where we part ways. And I can still personal best this and end up with a PR. But like right now, I don't feel great. And I ended up not being able to do it, but I finished, felt like $1 million. The thing I wasn't sharing was that I was really struggling with my eating disorder, and I finished, was kind of shattered with me, and I was in a really bad place personally. And so I kind of promised myself, I'm going to get help. I'm going to fix this. We're taking a break. And I did. I took 5 years of lots of therapy, working on myself. And it wasn't until last year that I decided, like, I kind of think I want to try again. I was at the Chicago Marathon cheering for my athletes, and I decided I wanted to try again. So here we are. I finally told everyone about it last week. I made the video, the announcement video, so many different times and just like could not bring myself to share it. And so we had a really long therapy session about it. And my therapist encouraged me to go for it because she was like, you want this. If you want this, let's do it. But like, I can tell you want this. So we talked about why I was on the fence about it. And I don't know how this is going to go. YouTube. If you're listening to this, these are recorded and shared on YouTube as well. Be Cure Bus originally was a YouTube series because we couldn't put video on Instagram and there was no TikTok. So I never had a way to share reels or videos on Instagram, and we had no image stabilizing stuff. So all the videos are like very difficult to watch. I tried to rewatch them with the Be Cure Bus rewatching series, and it's so hard to watch because it's like, because everything's in waterproof cases, because water, you sweat. So right now, the way I'm vlogging this is via social, Instagram, TikTok. Every day a new video comes out. And then at the end of the week, podcast with video. That's how we're doing this. I might hire Scott soon, maybe once BQ training starts or if I get a deal. For now, for now, I'm recording everything and I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And until I feel really comfortable shelling out bucks to vlog it the way I want Scott. I want to have someone with me. For those of you who don't know who Scott is one of my best friends. We grew up together. He is my grandmother, who just passed away this week, her best friend's son. And so I've known him since I was born. He moved here with his wife, who's also one of my best friends, in 2018, I think. And we lived together for a couple of years, the three of us and our other friend Casey. It was amazing. They're amazing creators themselves. They have they have two travel blogs, Your Brooklyn Guide and Bobo and Chi Chi. They're incredible. I love working with them. I love working with Scott. If you've seen any of my videos where someone's filming me, Scott's on a bike, and we just have a really great time doing it together. And I love him and want him to help me, but I just need a deal in order to make that happen. So I don't know if I can get a sponsorship or partnership, I'll do that. But if for now, I'm recording it and sharing it to social, because I've never had to deal with this filming up and down and then sideways. Like this is YouTube side, like horizontal, and then vertical up and down is for social. And so I'm not doing both. I thought about it for a second and I'm like, I'm not. There's no way in hell I'm not doing this. It's too much work. Training is already so much work. But beside the point, there's the big picture. You're all filled in on all the good stuff, the most important things. Let's talk training. Here we go. Week 1 just finished. I'm heading into week 2 of training. We have what I'm calling a layover. This first part of BQ Robust is Project 159, breaking 2 hours in the half marathon. Now, 2 hours is a way, 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 way off goal from BQing. I am nowhere near BQ shape right now. I'm nowhere near those paces. I'm running 11-ish minute miles right now, conversational pace. Breaking 2 hours and a half marathon feels incredibly audacious and scary and moonshotty. So that's where we're starting. I think if I can do that, if I can break 2 in November at the Philly Half Marathon in 11 weeks, I think I can break 3:35 come spring in a spring marathon in BQ. I think that timeline works out. But I think if I'm way off a 2 hour half come November, I don't think a spring marathon is in the cards. I think it has to be a fall marathon. So how did I pick my plan? I'm creating my plan. I am a running coach. I'm on the fence about whether or not to hire a running coach. If I do hire a running coach, I kind of want it to be Stowe, who coached me the last time I tried. I really love her. I know she's crazy busy now. She's a Nike coach. She is the head coach of Endorphins, which blew up post-pandemic. So I don't know if she has the time or the energy to do that. For now, I feel confident as my coach. I'm in a very different place now than I was when I was trying to do this long ago. I knew nothing about training, and now I know a whole hell of a lot about training. I've been a coach for a long time. So I'm doing my plan and I'm modifying it based on what I like and what I need, right? Based on my weaknesses. No one knows my weaknesses better than me. So in a way, I'm aptly, I'm aptly in a place to do my plan. But for you all, how do you pick a plan? The best way to pick a plan is to make sure that the plan that you're selecting really meets you where you are and is right for you and where you want to go, making sure that it fits your daily life, making sure that it's not going to overtrain you, right? In the back of your head, you may want to run 5 or 6 days a week, but your body may not like running more than 4. Or let's say you want to run 4 days a week, but your schedule doesn't allow for more than 3. So don't go picking a 4-day-a-week plan, right? Pick the 3-day-a-week plan and then do the most with strength work and cross training. For me, I'm running 4 days a week right now. Hopefully by the end of it, I'll be back up to 5, working my way to maybe 6. But 4 days a week, at least hopefully one cycling day. If I get the one cycling day in, I get 2 speed play days. I find that when you're doing something like a half marathon or a marathon, it's best when you have at least 4 running days and 1 cross training day. Cross training meaning light aerobic work, so cycling, swimming, things like that, so that you can get the 2 speed play running days. Otherwise, 1 speed play running day is ideal. And the 3 running days conversational paced are what you should be doing, better for you. If I don't get that cycling day in, one of those speed play days becomes a time on my feet day and an easy conversational pace run. At least 2 strength training days. I don't think 3 is realistic for me right now. 3 is normally what I've been doing for the last year. But based on my schedule and the amount of running that I'm doing, like, I just don't think it's realistic right now. We'll see what happens in the next 2 months when the fall running glow up comes and I can run in the middle of the day again. But we'll see. So for now, that's what I'm doing. That's what you should be looking at when you pick a running plan. How many days a week can you run? What are your goals? Is it meeting you where you are, right? Like, my long run started at 80 minutes this week. If I picked a plan that started me at a 2-hour long run, that doesn't make any sense. It's way overreaching. It would be overtrain me and I'd end up with an injury. So making sure that your plan, if you're only running 30 minutes 3 days a week, don't pick a plan that starts you at 60 minutes or 90 minutes, right? Make sure that you're slowly building your mileage every single week. That's how you pick a plan. So how did week 1 go? Week 1, we set A, B, and C goals, right? The A goal had 2 cycling days in it. I now know only 1 cycling day happened. So Monday, here's what I did. Monday, I did a 60-minute run. Tuesday, I did a speed play day, so 12 200-meter repeats at repetition pace with 90 seconds of rest. Wednesday, I did a 30-minute runner-specific strength session by Coach Amanda for the Badass Lady Gang, so it's functional work specifically for runners. And then I did a 60-minute bike ride. Thursday, I did a speed play day, 3 by a mile at threshold pace with 2 minutes of recovery. Friday, I did a rest day. Saturday, 80 minutes was my long run. I got to 10K. Saturday was a 60-minute strength work session Sunday. Sorry. Did I say Saturday? Sunday. That's what happened. So when I go to lay out week 2 of training, Monday, I'm going to do a 60-minute run. Tuesday, 12 by 200 at repetition pace with 90 seconds of rest. Again, same workout. Wednesday, 30 minutes runner-specific strength by Coach Amanda, and then a 60 to 90-minute bike ride. I might try to make Wednesdays my long bike ride day. Wednesdays, we have coaching calls for the Badass Lady Gang. So if you're doing a training experience with me or if you're on the team, I have like a block of coaching calls Wednesday nights. So I work until 9:30 at night-ish, 9:30, 9:45. So I try not to start working until 11 or 12. Otherwise, I'll start working at 8 and I will work too long on Wednesdays. So I try not to work till the middle of the day. So those are normally great days for me to do like a strength session and a longer session. So I might make Wednesdays my long bike ride day. But we'll see what happens. Thursday, I'm going to do 4 by 1 mile at threshold pace with 3 minutes of recovery. So we're adding a mile to that threshold workout. Friday is weirdly, I have 2 events. So in the morning, I have this Hoka event that I'm planning on going to. And I think it's a speed work session or like a race. And then in the evening, I'm actually going to a Peloton ride. It's a Lululemon thing. This is like a weird 2-a-day thing. I don't know why they're on the same day. I never go to events. I'm trying to be better about going to events. I normally say no because they make me anxious. And I know this is crazy. I know you're going to think I'm crazy to say this, but I am shy. And events, if I am alone, like I really don't like going to stuff alone. So I get to bring a friend to the Hoka event. I didn't even think to ask to bring someone to the Peloton but I should have, but whatever. I'm being a brave girl and I'm going to both of them. I'm trying to go to more stuff. Saturday, I'm going to do strength work and then a possible bike ride, most likely just strength work. And then Sunday, I'm doing a 90-minute long run. So that's the plan for week 2. Lots of flexibility. You're going to see that my speed play sessions are very similar to last week. The only stress that I'm introducing is 1 more mile at threshold pace, but otherwise relatively similar to last week. And there is a reason for that. With training, with this first block of training, I'm doing a lot of repetition pace work to try to work on my speed, to try to work on my top end speed, my anaerobic strength, to try to get my turnover, work on my form, all that good stuff. And then I'm working threshold pace, which is race pace-ish for me. And I'm getting comfortable and building confidence, getting better at clearing lactate, all that good stuff, working on my running economy so that my energy expenditure is better. All of that's happening in those 2 specific zones. Repetition pace is speedy and spicy. It is faster than mile pace. It is hot. So you're running hot, but not for long periods of time. 200 meters, if you look at a standard track, you think the Olympics, 200 meters is about half of that lap. So about 50-ish seconds, 54 seconds, maybe 55 seconds of work for me. Threshold pace is comfortably uncomfortable. I find the best way to describe threshold pace to people is like you're running with that group of friends who's faster than you. They promise they're going to go your pace and they don't. They're running too fast. You feel it. You don't feel like you're sprinting, but it's something that you can run for an hour, but like you don't like it. It's not comfortable. You're huffing and puffing a little bit and you're annoyed that no one can hear that you're huffing and puffing. And every time you ask to slow down, you slow down, but then they bring the pace back and it's back to being uncomfortable. That's threshold pace, comfortably uncomfortable. That's how I like to describe it. So that's how I'm laying out my next week. The goals for the next week are looking at the weather and looking at my schedule, right? Like at first when I was doing this, I forgot that I had those two events, the Hoka event in the morning and then a Peloton ride in the evening. So Friday was my rest day. And I just didn't even think about it. And then Saturday was my long run. And I was like, oh, since I'm doing both those workouts, I'm going to move my long run to Sunday and do my strength session on Saturday with maybe a bike ride if I'm up for it, but mostly just like a really long strength session. And then the rest of the day, just enjoying with friends. I think that's the day we're going to celebrate my birthday with my friends. And then consistency, of course, right? Like mostly for me, consistency is less about the training part because that's consistent for me. I'm back in my strength training routine. When I get out of my routine, the strength is the first thing that I struggle with. If I'm doing my strength regularly, I don't think twice about it. I'm finally in a place where I like doing strength. I don't have to like force myself to be present for 30 minutes. Like it kind of just flies by and I really like the way it feels. But if I go away for a week or 2 weeks and it kind of like gets discombobulated, it is very difficult for me to get back into that routine. It takes me like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm back in it after my like back and forth to the West Coast. Although in 2 weeks I'm going back. So just being gentle with myself, but also like striving for consistency, making sure that I'm foam rolling before my runs, making that a part of my routine 3 days a week, at least a foam roll, really striving for those 2 strength sessions. One of the best things you can do as a runner and honestly as a woman is doing your strength work. For me, in the back of my mind, I'm 30, turning 35, perimenopause is coming. You know, I want to be in a place where I maintain lean muscle mass and bone density for as long as humanly possible, and strength training is the way to go. So not only does it help me feel better running, that's always kind of at the forefront of my mind. That's why I'm doing my strength work. I like to feel strong. Yes, I enjoy it now. Finally, after a decade of struggling with it and hating it, I finally like it. Not even can be in the same room with it, Real Housewives style. You know, like Real Housewives when there's 2 housewives who really don't like each other, hate each other. And they finally like kind of get to a place where even though they don't love each other, they can be in the same room with each other. I actually like look forward to my strength sessions now. I really like them. So I'm past that, honey. I am like best friends now with strength work. I like it, but it isn't running. I will be the first to admit that it's not running, and it took me forever to get here. I do want that one bike ride session. And again, that kind of like carrot for me is if I don't get the bike session in, one of my speed play sessions goes. So the bike is something I'm trying to make happen. I love bike riding. I just live on a 2-story walk up that's really narrow and old, and I hate carrying my bike down. And I'll be honest, I'm scared. Bike riding, there's like parts of my bike ride that scare me. People are so stupid. People are insane. Every time I say city biker, I just assume that person's trying to kill me on their city bike, not like with a knife, but like they're so stupid that their actions will lead me to hurt myself. Same thing with children. If I see a child, I just assume that child is going to make their way right in front of me. Doesn't matter if they're a mile away. Like parents, I get it. It's hard, but like, oh my God, kids are so stressful. Anytime I'm on a bike, I'm like, oh, that kid's going to kill me. That kid's going to kill me because that parent's going to check that phone. No judgment. I totally get it. But like kids are wild, man. We live in New York City. You're not in cars. Everybody's on foot. So we have to live with each other. It is stressful. So even though I love my bike ride, it is hard. And even though I have a Peloton, I really have a hard time riding my Peloton. That is like strictly for snow days nowadays because after you go outside, it's very hard to get back inside. It is. It just is. It's not the same. Lucky to have it, but I really reserve it for desperate times. I'm going to slow my threshold day down a little bit. I was striving for 9 o'clock this week, 9-minute miles this week. I'm actually going to slow that down to 9:10 this week since I'm doing 4. I'm going to see if that feels a little bit better and I can be more consistent with it. And then I may not take a rest day this week. And I'm okay with that. And here's why. Normally I'm very big on like at least one strength training day every single week. For the most part, most of us don't need one rest day every single week. But as women, overtraining is very prominent and very common in runners. So I find it really beneficial for the long run for everyone to have one rest day every single week. Now, every once in a while, it is okay to skip a rest day. I'm a running coach. I know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this, get your rest day. It is always better to get your rest day. Remember, rest is a part of training. Recovery is a part of training. Recovery is an incredibly important part of training. If you aren't recovering, you don't absorb the work that you're doing in training. So you think of it like saving money, but like throwing, kind of like burning it before you put it in a bank. That's not the point. You want to put all the money in the bank. You want to put all the coins in the coin jar. You don't want to take some of your money and light it on fire and then put the rest of it in the coin jar. You want all the money to go in the coin jar, right? So rest and recovery is really important. I'm going to see how I feel this week, but because of that Friday event day, things kind of get wacky and wild. We'll see what happens. I may just front end strength work on Friday in the middle of the day and make Saturday my rest day, but we'll see how I'm feeling. I'm going to listen to my body. Next week, I know it gets wild with, I have to go to California for my grandmother, her burial, and then for my grandmother and grandfather's celebration of life. I had a really bad week this week. My GM passed away, which is devastating. It's hard because when a grandparent passes away, the first thing everyone asks is like, was it expected? And I always am like, I don't know how to answer that because my grandmother was 87. She had Parkinsonianism. So for the last like 2012 is when we really started to notice things. So it's been 12 years that she's been declining. So for her, especially, despite the fact that she lived this incredibly long and wonderful life and was in her older age, she had this disease, Parkinsonianism and dementia. And yes, it was, especially this year. Like we kind of knew Easter was the last time I saw her. Well, I saw her right before she passed when I was home, but like Easter was the last time I saw her where she was still able to kind of like say things. And she said my name, which she hasn't done in a while. And she said, Kelly, darling. And I kind of took that as like, that was my last gift. And that was my last, like, there she is. She was the best. She was like the most magical person on the whole world. I don't know anyone who's like her. She was so incredible. She just made everything so fun, and she was so smart, and she was just so the more the merrier kind of a person. Everything we ever did, we always were encouraged to bring people, make sure that no one was ever alone on holidays, or if you knew someone was going to be sitting at home, bring them. And everything was fun, and we had such wild customs and traditions and things like that. And she just was so smart. She went back to college in her 40s. She then became the first woman city councilwoman in Tustin. She ran for office. She became the first woman mayor of Tustin. She did that. And then she went back to law school and kind of realized the only people, this is her words, the only people who were making real change were people who were able to make laws, and good laws for women. And so she wanted to become a lawyer. So she became a lawyer. And she and my grandfather, who passed away 2 weeks prior to when she passed away. So we lost them in like 2 weeks together, which is exactly how they should go. They were so in love, and they were soulmates, and like just had the most beautiful relationship. And it doesn't mean it was perfect, but like they loved each other and they loved us. And my grandparents never missed an opportunity to tell me they were proud of me, or that they believed in me, or that they didn't think I was magic. And not in a way that was like grandiose, but like in just such a, you can do anything if you want to work for it kind of a way. Like put the work in and find your family. Like we have people. I wouldn't still be in New York without my grandmother. It was really my sister. My sister wanted to go into weddings, and they were like, I think we have family in weddings. Let me ask my cousin Joanne. And so Joanne connected with our family who were in the wedding industry here and got Sam an internship. And then like they are so like GM And like without them, I would not be in New York City. We've all lived with them for long extended periods of time. Talk about the privilege to have them in our lives, but like so extended family, like third or fourth cousins, twice removed. That's how related we are to our New York family. But like without GM saying we have family, like let's reach out to them, let's connect to you and make sure you're not alone and things like that. Like that's just like in her DNA of like, we know family, we have family, family is important, and stay connected with your family, and you know, support each other, family, chosen family, all that. So it was a very hard week to lose her, and really sad about it, but I'm really glad we don't have to watch her kind of I don't have to watch her decline anymore. She really was not. It's just hard. Anyone who knows anyone who's watched someone decline from dementia, and it's just horrible. And so I'm grateful that that's over and she's in heaven having the most incredible ragers all the time. And she's with Poppy, who also just like the most incredible person ever. And most importantly, there was Scott, my brother, who passed away in 2009. And that, you know, like he gets to be with them now, but hard. Back to running. Should we talk about running again? All right. I wrote down questions and comments from social media, and I thought about just releasing these videos, but I'm like, well, actually, let's answer them here on the podcast. So if you have questions going forward, ask them on Instagram, ask them on TikTok. You can also ask them on YouTube, of course. But I'm going to answer them here. Am I worrying about the BAA, the Boston Athletic Association, who runs the Boston Marathon, changing my BQ time from 3:35 to 3:30? So one of the reasons I want to BQ again is my time goes back to 3:35 because I'm about to age up a bracket. So where I am right now, my BQ time is 3:30 as a 34-year-old. But when I turn 35, I get 5 more minutes. So it's 3:35. So the truth is there is a cushion. I would probably need to be more like 3:32, 3:31, 3:30 to really get to run the Boston Marathon. Am I worrying that so many people again are trying to do it and they're going to move my time to 3:30? No. The honest answer is I can only do what I can do, and I want to try to BQ again. I don't know what I can do. If I can run 3:30, that'd be awesome. But right now 3:35 is the goal, and that's what I'm training for. Because it's the same training regardless, right? I can only do what I can do, and I can only give my best. So I'm not worrying about it. If I run 3:35 and I don't get into Boston, I'm going to say something so douchey, and you can absolutely hate me for this, but I'm incredibly lucky and incredibly fortunate, and I can get into the Boston Marathon if I want. I'm an influencer. I almost did it this year. So I'll know I did exactly what I wanted to do, and that's that, right? This is my goal. I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. I don't take this stuff for granted that I get to run these races. But when I run the Boston Marathon as a partnership, I don't get to just run the Boston Marathon. I am working the entire time. So it's a trade-off, right? It's a job, but I get in. So that is what it is. I know, hate me. I hate me for saying it. What is the time you need in the half marathon? So there is no time that I need to qualify for the Boston Marathon and the half marathon. I'm trying to break 2 hours. I want to figure out my timeline of whether I'm going to do a spring marathon or a fall marathon. I'm training for this Project 159, break 2 hours in the half marathon. If I can do that, I think I'm in a place where I can realistically in 16 or 20 weeks, or 24 for the race that I think I'm going to try to do. I think it's 24 weeks. I don't know. I can't remember. 5 or 6 months. I know that that's enough time for me to get back into BQ shape. If let's say I do 210, 207, I'm not sure, even 205, I'm not sure I'm where I need to be. And we're talking all out personal best. Like if I do that and have some things go sideways, I might still try for a spring. But like the nice thing about trying now in BQing is I know where I'm at. I I'm a running coach. I know this stuff now, whereas before I really was leaning on coaches to tell me for that source of feedback of I think you can do this, because I didn't understand how anything worked. No one ever taught me. When Doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that. But now I know. So like that's really why I'm doing this half marathon first. One, to build fitness, but two, to like figure out my timeline of what's realistic for trying to BQ in 2025. How do you qualify? I do get the time goal, but more practical side of this. I think I know what you're asking with this. So, how do you qualify for the Boston Marathon? You have to time qualify. So, the BAA has set forth standards for women, men, and what is the word I'm looking for? And non-binary. Whoa, I'm like, it's not transgender, it's non-binary people. So there's 3 categories that you fall into, and you have ages, and so you have standards that you have to run. Then the way it works is once you hit that standard, there's only X amount of slots for everybody. So for my age group, 35, I don't know if it's 40. Let's just say it's 40 for the sake of this. I don't know what it exactly is for women, 35 to 40. Let's say that there's 5,000 spots. So they take the fastest first, and then they go through till that 5,000th person is picked. So let's say the 5,000th slot is 3 hours, 34 minutes. I would not get in with a 3:35 because the slots are gone. Does that make sense? So the practical side of things, how do you get faster, which I think is what you're asking? How do you go from 11-minute miler down to like a 9-ish minute miler, 8:30 minute miler, so that you can race an 8-minute mile pace to 3:35? Speed work, right? That's a big part of it, is having a really good plan with lots of speed work so that you can get faster, right? The way that training plans work is there are cycles, so that you have kind of like four different phases of training. There's like a base building phase. There's like lots of repetition work and threshold pace phase. And then you introduce interval work, which is like hard ass high miles and threshold work. And then you kind of like fine tune, and then you race. You taper and then you race. That's kind of the way it works. So the practical side of things is you have to stay healthy, right? Making sure you're doing your strength work, making sure you're doing your mobility work, your flexibility work, your stability work, your strength work, all of that, making sure that you're not going too hard and ramping your mileage up too quickly, being really patient, which as runners, we all know that's the hardest thing to do. Doing your mental work, something that I'm so passionate about and adamant about. It's why I coach the way I coach with our training experiences, with our running plans, and with our team on the Badass Lady Gang, is we spend so much time with the mental side of things, because that's the hardest part. That's the biggest piece of the puzzle, is the mental side of things. So that's a big piece of it, learning how to stay calm, cool, and collected when everything's happening, learning how to trust yourself and trust the process, learning how to deal with predefined limits. I can't do this. Accurate self-talk, lots of stuff like that. So mental stuff. That's kind of the practical side of things, and seeing the forest from the trees. I have this big audacious moonshotty goal, but I know there is no guarantees. I know that there's no timeline really. Like I would love to do a spring marathon, but like that might not be realistic. So I'm not focusing on BQ or bust too much. I'm focusing on this Project 159. I'm focusing on this 12-week chunk short-term goal. And I'm focusing on every single week being as strategic as possible. And most importantly, just giving my best, showing up for myself how I can, when I can, however I can, right? That's the practical side of it. It's why I love doing this, because yes, BQ or bust is such an audacious goal, but it's like not about BQing. It's about what can I do? What can I do in this amount of time? And chasing, I don't think I can do that goals, right? Like goals that feel impossible. BQ or bust has never felt more impossible than it feels right now. I am in such a different place than when I started this. It almost makes me embarrassed because when I started BQ or bust, I was so much faster, so much fitter, definitely mentally not as confident or sound. I was dealing with a lot more stuff that hurt me a lot more than the fitness level I'm at right now. So if I were to give and take, I would not go back to that place. I am so much happier to be here. 100%. I would much rather try to go from the fitness level I'm at now to it than be where I was. But like, I really did not understand where I was. I was the asshole 9-minute miler calling herself slow because that's how I felt. There was no one talking about pieces, and I was the slowest of people I was seeing. And I was like, fuck, I'm so much slower than everyone. Little did I know I was so fast. Like, I had no idea. And now with TikTok, like, everyone's talking about it. And of course, as a running coach, you know, like when I started running, I was an 11-minute miler, and I got way, way, way down by over exercising and running myself into the ground, which I don't recommend. And there's healthy ways to do it, right? Like, I'm doing it the healthy way now, but it's hard. This shit is hard. I've never tried to take time off the way I'm trying now at the fitness level I'm at now. You know, like 3 months ago, not even like 2 months ago, I was running, not even 2 weeks ago, I was running 12-minute miles. Like I'm running 11 to 12-minute miles. I'm not right now. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks since I've seen a 12. I'm back down to more like 11:30s, 11s, sometimes 10:30s on great days. But like, I have a long way to go, everybody. So I don't know what I can do. Yes, I'd love to BQ, but mostly I just really want to push myself and see what I'm capable of. That's the goal. Personal best effort, right? Please document this like you did BQ or bust. Like I kind of talked about, I don't know what YouTube's going to happen. We'll see about Scott. What's with the shoehorn? I hate untying my shoes, everybody. I don't know why. Ever since I started running, I hate untying my shoes. My physical therapists always give me so much shit about it. They're like, this is so stupid, and like your poor heel. I now do a heel lock, which is a type of way that you can tie your shoes to help with that. But like the shoehorn helps me get my foot in my shoe without having to untie my shoe. Although 9 times out of 10, not even, I would say half the time I have to untie my shoe and retie it to make it tighter. But I hate untying my shoes. I think it started from like in the beginning, finding shoes that worked, and it was such like a thing. Like it was so uncomfortable in some shoes, and I think I just still have that fear in my head. So I just don't want to bug it. I don't want to like change anything, which is so irrational, but I still have it. What sports bra are you wearing? I keep seeing this question, which I don't know why I'm so surprised that people don't know what I wear, because I feel like all I do is talk about the sports bra I wear. 90% of the time, you're going to see me in a Lululemon Run Times bra, linked in my bio. There's a guide to help you figure out the sports bras that are best for you and the ones that I recommend. But the Lululemon Run Times bra is an H-back, and it's a great bra if you have wide shoulders like I do, and you can't wear a crossback. Sometimes you will see me in an Under Armour High Infinity 2.0 bra. That bra you can wear X-back or crossback. I think that's actually like one of the best bras on the market right now. So I'm getting more of them, so you'll see me in that one more. But like 90% of the time, you're going to see me in a Lululemon Run Times bra because I have so many of them. Are you programming your own training plan or working with a coach? We kind of already talked about this. I am doing it myself. How do you combat boredom? I listen to music or podcasts, but sometimes I feel bored in my body and walk because I'm bored. How do I beat that? Oh, what a great question. So in the beginning, right, where I am, I don't get bored. Boredom is welcomed. Boredom is my favorite part about running. I love to daydream. I think it's a trauma response is what I'm learning. I need to talk to my therapist about it, because everyone on TikTok, the way my active brain works, I daydream constantly, like all day long. And that's how I go to bed. I start to dream. And I'm learning that might be a trauma response and not great. I need to talk to my therapist about it. I don't even know if I want to change it because I love it so much. But like with me and running, like all I do is daydream on my easy days, on my conversational paced easy days. I always put easy days in quotes because there's nothing easy about running. And I hope everybody knows that. So I love the boredom, but it is one of those things that you have to learn to love in the beginning. It's just sitting with parrots. I always say parrots. One of my professors, Alexandra Billings, one of the most magical people on the planet, up there with GM. She's iconic, just amazing. She always talked about parrots in our acting training. Parrots constantly screaming in our ears and taking us out of the moment, right? What are you doing with your hands? What is that person? That person is looking at you, right? Like whatever, taking you out of the moment. And the same thing happens in running, right? Like, oh my God, I feel so tired. Oh my God, what's happening with my breathing? Oh my God, my feet hurt. All this stuff is happening. And learning how to just sit with your boredom and listen to the parrots is very hard, and it takes a long time. So one, if you can remind yourself, this is like a 3-month gig, right? Learning how to befriend the parrots is a 3-month commitment. If you can accept that, it makes it a tiny bit easier. Next, there's tons of things that you can do. You can call someone your most talkative friend who you know is just going to like talk your face off while you run and you don't really have to talk. that's what you want. 2, run with friends. I often am running with friends because 1, it's a way for us to connect, and we don't have a lot of time. So anytime we can find time is wonderful. So can you run with people? Can you join a running group? Badass Lady Gang. We've got chapters all over. Can you connect with them? Can you go to the online Badass Lady Gang community and find people near you? We're trying our very best to help you connect with people, but like, can you find people to run with who are similar to you in your paces? Music. I love listening to music. One of the reasons I actually like to run alone a lot of the time too is I want to listen to my Disney music. I listen to Disney parades, and like that's my time to listen to my Disney parades because I don't have a car. I can't listen to it then. It's like parades and or show tunes are like what I'm listening to when I'm running alone. Otherwise, when I have a speaker and I'm running with friends, I'm listening to Beyonce and Taylor Swift and like Whitney Houston and like the pop hits. I'm not making my friends listen to Disney music or show tunes most of the time. We're listening to stuff that everybody wants to listen to. So I love my time with my music. People listen to podcasts, audiobooks, stuff like that. Otherwise, make sure that you're starting small, right? Don't jump into a running plan that's asking you to run 40, 50, 60 minutes off the bat. Make sure you're starting with 20-minute runs so that when you're gradually building time out there and you're getting used to being bored and uncomfortable, you're a frog in a pot where you're not noticing how long you're out there. It's slowly happening instead of like jumping into a boiling pot of water, right? Like make sure that that's happening. But most importantly, know that it's a part of the process and you're exactly where you need to be, and making sure that you kind of allow yourself to struggle with it a little bit. Like that's just how you get mentally stronger, is the only way is through it, right? That's just the way it goes. But come up with stuff. Then there's tons of mental tools that we work on in the Badass Lady Gang, right? Like this is such a big piece of the puzzle, is what are the mental tools that are in your tool belt to help you in those moments where you can't get present, where the parrots are screaming really loud, where you are really bored or you are really uncomfortable, things like that. So there's lots of stuff that you can do. Come train with me and we can talk about it, or keep watching. We'll talk about them over the next couple of weeks. But this is running long. Week 1 done. Time flies when, life is really coming at ya. What a week. What a shitty week. But I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for training this week. It kind of is nice to go and cry or disassociate. I know that's not healthy. Don't tell my therapist, but like sometimes you just gotta disassociate. Sometimes you just gotta go unplug and feel your feelings. Other times you gotta unplug and pretend everything's fine. And I'm doing both right now. Luckily I'm elite in grief. It's a shitty club to be a part of, but it feels different with my grandparents. I'm deeply, deeply sad that they're gone and life will never be the same without them. But they lived incredibly long lives, and they lived incredible lives because of who they are. So it doesn't feel like, for me at least, it doesn't feel like they got robbed of a life in the way that I feel about it with my brother. Like my brother died when he was 16, and trauma, capital T trauma. But death is always awful and sad, but the grief feels very different with my grandparents. I feel a lot more gratitude with my parents, a lot more gratitude, because they were the best. So grateful for running right now, grateful for this project to keep me busy and give me something to live for. That's dark. That's not true. I'm fine. I'm just sad. I'm sad. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you on the socials. Kick ass, take names. Bye.